Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Ariwa Bestie. So good to be back. This is the part 2 of the video of the part 1. If you've not watched the part 1, I'll drop the link to the part 1 in the description area. Why I quit my teaching job. Alright, I will continue. So this is it here. Then my last video I spoke about the money, the pay was very poor, and then coming into the system properly itself, like, I'm not trying to generalize that is how all the private schools, because I didn't get the privilege to work in a government school, because, and that was another thing, working in a government school has to do with you being an indigent. Yes, it had to do with the fact that you need to have long legs, like connection, like in Nigeria we call it, in case for those that are not based in Nigeria. You need to know people for you to be able to get to work in government schools, because in the teaching system, I think the government school is much more better in the sense that when you have an NCE. Now this information I'm telling you from, like, let's say 7 years ago or so, 5-7 years ago. I don't know how it is currently. When you have an NCE and you get to teach in the government school, irrespective of if it's primary or secondary, because this government school has a kind of standard, like normal civil servant standard. When you get to teach in this government school, as an NCE holder, you get paid almost 40 something thousand naira. Yes. Then as a BS or master degree holder, I mean BSc holder, you get to earn close to 60,000. Then when you have masters, you get to earn close to 70,000, yeah, thereabout. So you see how it works here. So getting into the government school is not easy. So then having that kind of privilege is not easy. Then when you go to, like, well-paid schools now, like schools meant for the bourgeois, yes, there are schools like that here in Nigeria where the school fees of that school is way outrageous, like, and so teachers are well paid. Like, teachers are paid as high, in fact sometimes even close to or more than people that work in oil companies. Yes. But then excuse me, to get into those kind of schools to work, you need to have a strong link, you see. So everything is still surrounding connection. Okay, let's keep that aside and then come back to the system itself. Another reason, or some other major reasons that made me to quit, was the fact that the workload was unnecessary too much. Like, when I mean by unnecessary too much, okay, when I started teaching a lower primary, that was basic 1, and basic 1 had close to, if I'm not mistaken, 14 to 15 subjects that basic 1 were actually taking. And aside from a few subjects that's like aside from English language, French, creative arts, and what else? Okay, CRK. I think aside from those 4 subjects, I think basically in those about 14 subjects, aside from those 4 subjects that I listed out, like, the remaining 10, I was the teacher taking it. You can imagine, I was the class teacher, I was still the form teacher, I was like, like I was one taking the whole of those 10 subjects. It was too much. And then you need to at least you should be able to provide lesson notes on 4 of those subjects. Yes, every week, and you need to deliver. Then you've not spoken about some other activities in the school where you have to attend teachers meetings. And then, do you know the part again that for me I was not happy was that we were not sent on trainings. Okay, time to time they could bring in, like, lecturers from the university to come and talk to us, but then it wasn't necessary, because for me, we were not lecturing, we're teachers. As I said earlier, if you watched my part 1 video, I did BEd, that's Bachelor in Education. Now we had different forms, like in our methodologies, we had different methods of teaching different classes. We had method of teaching the lower graders, like nursery, and then we had method of teaching primary, we also had method of teaching secondary, and then most of all the highest method was lecturing in a higher institution. Now we're not lecturers, we were teachers. So bringing in lecturers to come and educate us or train us on teaching, to me it didn't make sense. For me it was just like show off or just forming activity. I don't know if that word is correct. Just so, because since they could not take us out to go and get trainings, now they decided to bring in lecturers from UST, so that okay, that's one of the state university, to come and talk to us. Like, to me it didn't go well. Like, it wasn't relevant. Okay, now you see the stress that was involved. Then the fact that these schools are owned by private schools, they are owned by individuals. Now there is this selfishness and favorism when it comes to making decisions. Yes, if you don't belong to the cycle, all of these things, there's always click. If you don't belong to the cycle, it's almost like you're not treated well. It's almost like you're not even allowed to make mistakes. Yes, when you come to school, even if it's just a minute late, it is deducted from your salary. And like, see, I was abandoning my family to a large extent, but I wanted it to be worth it, but it just refused to be worth it, because I had this very strong passion for teaching, but it was almost like it was being destroyed, and I could not save it. I could not save it, and it was something that it was getting to me seriously, but then there was nothing I could do. Okay, and then coming here again, the system of education looks like this. When the kids are failing, and even if you go to tell the school authority that this child needs to repeat this class, they'll tell you no, that so it's more of a business venture to them than actually taking note of the child's future. This child cannot move on to the next class. Call the parents. And then the one very important thing again, there was this barricade. Like, there was a huge barricade, and I don't know why they would not allow teachers to talk to the parents of these children. I really, till today, I don't know why. Because there are certain things that it is only the teacher that can relate it properly. Do you get? But then the parents will come in when they have any complaints. They come in and they go to the school authority, and then they report the teacher, and then the teacher will be sanctioned. And of course, but then the teacher does not really have the privilege to be able to talk directly to the parents, except if the parents insist that they want to talk to the teacher. Do you understand? And even if the parents insist that they want to talk to the teacher, there are certain times that after talking to the teacher, these proprietors we want to know what exactly you guys discuss, which there's no problem in that. But for me, that barricade, that huge demarcation between the parents and the teachers, for me, is uncalled for. I understand probably, here, that was it. And I'm not like trying to throw jabs at anybody or any individual here. That's why I purposely refuse to call any name in particular. Like, the school owners, their decision making is way too myopic, and there was this huge competition among them. It's almost like they were introducing things that we didn't need in the curriculum. Like, they were introducing things that were not necessary just because this other school has this, and then we too want. Like, it was more of a business. You understand? It was more of packaging. You get? There were certain things that were missing, and then you as a teacher, when you try to bring that up, nobody listens to you. So it's almost like you're not being supported, because there's a popular saying that when the pilot is comfortable, the passengers are safer. But in this case, nobody cares if the teacher is like, there are times you ask for even learning aids. Okay, like one of the schools that I taught, we the teachers were asking for learning aids, like more illustration material, so that these kids, as I told you, I did education, so there's this aspect of teaching and learning where these kids learn visually based on what they see. So even some of us adults, we learn like that. We tend to remember things that we see visually. So we were asking for more better upgraded learning aids, because the ones that were relevant were not relevant anymore. The ones that we had were no longer giving us the help we needed. It was not helping us to deliver as much as we wanted. And the owner of the school did not take that seriously. She didn't even look at it like it was something she should even consider. But guess what? She next, I think, after we asked for that, she was like, there's no room for that, there's no budget for that. The next thing we saw was she went to buy a big swimming pool. Like, did we need swimming pool? Did we really need swimming pool? Yes, I know it's an extracurricular activity, but till I left that school, I think it was just once or twice that swimming pool was used. It was just there, harboring. It became a harboring ground for mosquitoes. Like, the whole thing was just weird. It was almost like there was misplaced priorities. Do you understand? It was almost like she okay, as a teacher or as a human being generally, we make mistakes. Now, probably as a teacher, you make mistakes. You should be called aside, because you don't talk to me. You don't talk down at me in front of these pupils, because they look at me as a teacher and I'm superior in knowledge. So when you come and talk down on me, these kids might look at me like she's even teaching us rubbish. Look, modern children can be very, they can be very smart. In fact, they are very smart. Do you understand? When you even talk of your average student, the normal average students of now, or normal average people of now, in the past they were the excellent students or very good students. So the rate at which kids nowadays learn is way ahead. I don't know if it's because of modern technologies and all that. Is way ahead than the way we learn. We learn almost at close pace with our parents, but our kids now, the generation Z as they are popularly called, they are way ahead. So, in fact, this story is very long, but let me just try my best to keep it down, so that I don't want this to get to part 3. Or let's get it to part 3 to be better, where I'll speak more about the relationship in the work environment, the gossips, the backbiting. In fact, we're extending this to part 3. So thank you so much. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I love you all. Bye.